I'm Guy Mackenzie, and I'm absolutely delighted to have with me today Kane. And I'm very much a fan of Eden's because I've actually got all your hit records, in fact.
That's one of you.
And I still play them.
Wow.
Welcome back to the West Country.
Oh yeah, I love it here.
Eden, tell me, how did you get into the business? Because it's some years ago now, isn't it?
It was many years ago. It was 1960 actually, when I first... basically, I entered a talent... It's very boring. I entered a talent contest. And one of the guys who was going to be my manager happened to be there.
Right.
And so he phoned his partner and said, I think I found somebody, you know.
Okay.
So basically I was discovered, as they say, you know, and at this cinema in Chelsea in London, basically. And then from there, they found a song, you know, found a songwriter who wrote a hit song for me, etc. So that's where the story starts.
Was that Well I Ask You?
That was Well I Ask You,
okay.
yeah.
And that was 1961? 1961. And of course, your numbers carried on to the sort of the beat, didn't they? Because Boys Cry...
Well, as a matter of fact, yeah. I was basically beetled out of the business.
Okay.
I hate them. No. They basically, what happened was, in '63, I think they started to gain ground, and the groups came in, and then the single singers, you know, the solo singers, you know, had a hard time with it, including me. You know, so I thought, uh-oh, you know, I said, my day's done. And especially after I heard Love Me Do, and then She Loves You, and I went, oh man, you know, it's over for me, I better go home. So basically, then in '64, strangely enough, I had another hit record. At the time when the Beatles were really going really strong in America and the whole thing, and I had a new manager and a new record company, and we did a song called Boys Cry, which was a big hit for me. And so I came back. Then I managed to meet all those guys, you know, en route, and we did some shows together, etc., etc. So I watched the whole transition as they came in, and I sort of disappeared into the distance.
But you didn't entirely disappear, did you? Because in fact, you went off and lived in the States.
That's correct.
When was that?
That was in '60. Well, first of all, there was a guy in Australia. His name was Jim Haddleton, and he'd seen me do. We did some shows at the Sydney Stadium back in the day, and he said, "Come to Australia, you know, because you know you can do quite well here." So that's what I did. And so in '67, I went to Australia, stayed there for a couple of years. And then basically worked the leagues, clubs, and all that kind of stuff. You know, had a TV show and things. And then I ended up in America in 1969.
Okay. And of course, not just as a singer, but you've also been quite famous on television, haven't you?
Well,
and tell me about that. How that happened.
I wouldn't go that far. This is that's a bit of a stretch. Basically,
well, I think there's a certain amount of modesty there.
No. Basically, I started to work for Paramount Pictures on a series called Star Trek, when the Next Generation with Patrick Stewart and those guys, you know, with Captain Picard.
Yeah.
And so I worked for Paramount for 18 years on all the series. I worked on Next Generation. I went on to Voyager. And then after that, I worked on Enterprise the last 4 years when Scott Bakula was the captain. Good actor, Scott Bakula. Yeah. Anyway, so Scott, that only lasted 4 years, but there was Next Generation 7 years, Voyager 7 years, and then Enterprise 4 years. And they gave me a few little roles here and there, you know. There was one role they gave me at the end of Voyager where I was an admiral, you know, of the fleet, and I basically saved mankind.
Oh, well,
what can I say?
I'd like to be able to say that.
I saved mankind, yeah.
Well, many congratulations.
I think it's nothing. It was nothing. I pressed this screen. Boom, 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 boom. There are 4 Borg vessels. Boom, 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 boom. Fire.
I love that story. Thank you for sharing with me. But Eden, here we are in 2016, and you're on the Solid Gold Rock and Roll Tour with Marty Wilde.
Yep.
And you've done these tours for 20 years at least.
I know. Well, I've
Over 20
admired
years.
Marty since I was a child.
Yeah,
Um,
as I have. Yeah.
He'll kill me for that. Yeah, but basically, I've been doing the Solid Goals for a while. Derek Nichol and Paul of Flying Music, they have been putting on these shows for the last 20 years or so,
Yeah.
off and on, and I've done about 12 of them, you know, and then the last 3 or 4 I've done with Marty, and so we're back, you know.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
What have you got lined up for 2017? Is there anything in the
Well, no,
pipeline?
I'm a grandfather. I've, you know, basically, that's my main job is to be a grandfather. No, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm going to be writing. I'm going to be doing stuff. I'm going to be doing some music, playing some clubs when I go back to the States, and I live in Los Angeles, and you know, if somebody from here, I mean, if they ask me to do it in 2 years and I'm still walking, I'll do it, you know.
Eden, thank you very, very much for talking to me.
It's a pleasure.
Now I've lost Lars.
Lost the cameraman.
I lost the camera, he's gone.
Action!